And within that 30 years that I talked about, and Robert Reich talks about the last 35 years, which brings us, ironically, up to about 2010, the last 35 years where we see this stagnation. What are we looking at? What does that mean in terms of development? What does that mean in our capacity? As we've used those 30 years to now be, in some sense, absorbed in the system of consumption. And I said, there's a lot on the table. There's a lot of stuff on our table today. There's a lot of stuff when we talk about what we want to do and what we need to do. What does that look like now? We can't reinvent that moment. That 30 years was unique in economic history in this country because the previous years before that, we had, what did we have? We had the Depression. The war brings us out of depression. We have 30 years of the golden years of capitalism, and then we've had this slight, this constant movement down, this constant movement down. Those are things that we have to think about in understanding this history, understanding this moment, this amazing moment that we're in, an amazing challenge that we're in. So what does that mean? What are the kind of relationships we are going to create? What are the kind of economic relationships that we're going to create within our communities? What are those relationships? If indeed this farce of globalization has simply been that, is it simply exported jobs away from us? It's in some sense created a consumer economy for us. What do we do in the wake of that to reverse and have more control of our own lives, both individually, in terms of our community and collective? These are real questions, in a sense. Real questions. They are questions that we're going to have to face in the light of the fact of a diminishing capacity of our climate, of our planet, to maintain what we've had before. Someone once said that in order, if the United States uses 30% of the world's resources, 33% of the world's resources, it's 5% of the world's population. If that's the truth of it, we're going to need 4 more planets for everyone to kind of reach where we are. That's it. That's it. So these are kind of discussions that I think that we had to bring in. We had to bring in. And I'm simply, as I said, a citizen artist. And I said I'm a citizen artist in a real spirited way. Algie Davis, when I last talked to him, said that, you know what? We need artists to save us from machines. So we need to be imaginative in how we kind of look at what is happening right now. We have to create imaginative solutions, solutions that may be out of the box, solutions that you may have be challenged within the democracy to think about. You may be challenged, but we have to think about this as we move now further into the 21st century. The last economic downturn in 1934, there was no language in our vocabulary for middle class. There was language for working people, working class people. There was no language in our vocabulary for climate change. There was no language. We weren't talking about that. We weren't talking about that. We're 2 billion people on the planet. 2 billion people on the planet. There were 1 billion people on the planet. The first time that the world registered 1 billion people was 1800 on the planet. So in 134 years, through this system, this incredible system of industrialization, we have another billion people. Now notice that I said that it took the world to 1800 to get to 1 billion people. It took them 134 years to get to 2 billion people. When I was born 62 years ago, it was 2.5 billion people. And now we have somewhere over 6.5 billion people on the planet in that short time. So we have to take into consideration what the